All right, one last thing I wanted to talk to you guys. I got one more thing to show you. I know class is over, but I wanted to show you something. First of all, I wanted to thank all of you for coming to my class, for enjoying the summer with me. It would have been nice to have some time in the studio, but we couldn't do it. All right. Thank you. Hope to see you soon. What I wanted to show you was a session that I did. The session that I did it's been a super long time. But this session was at Windy Hill Studio. I think I mentioned it in class. I'll just show you quick little pictures and videos and stuff, just because you didn't get to see one during class time. So here it is. Let's see here. Here we go. So here we go. This is the live room. All right. So this room here, it's fairly large. I don't know how big it is, but it's pretty big. There's 2 drummers, a bass player, 2 guitar players, saxophone, percussion, an organ, B3 organ. All right. The bass player was playing electric, and sometimes he was playing upright bass. All right. So there's the 2 drum kits right there, and the guitarists are kind of like below here. The percussion's kind of over here behind this thing here. All right. It's a pretty cool sounding studio. There is where the saxophone player is. All right. And there's actually 3 horn players. Sax over here, alto sax. The middle one is a tenor, and then a trumpet over here on the far left. All right. So there's the drums over there. Cool studio. Yeah, there's the B3 behind the screen you see there. Amazingly enough, so there's drum kit number 1. Amazingly enough, there wasn't really that much leakage. There was a little bit of leakage, but not that much. Oops, I went back there. Let's go back forward. Here we go. So you see there's a 421 on the toms. All right, this thing's a 421. There's another one right there. This is drum kit A. These are 414s on the overheads, spread left and right. The angles are kind of weird. It looks a little weird, but it sounded good. The kick drum had a, what was it? Oh, a 421 on the kick drum as well. All right. It's pretty cool. And drum kit number 2 coming up here in a second. This is a little remote rig down here where this drummer can actually trigger. He can actually record. He can trigger Pro Tools to play and record from his throne. Right. This is drum kit number 2, and if you can see the mics on the overhead, those are again. It looks kind of weird, but it's not actually weird. Those are blue microphones, and they're called woodpecker microphones. Those are ribbon microphones, and they sound really, really good. Maybe at some point I'll email you guys like a rough mix or something like that, if they let me. 57 on the snare. These Audix drum kit mics, really good sounding. There's an RE20 down there below. You see the kick drum. This kick drum we had to didn't have a hole in it, and it was very tuned, kind of like a old school jazz drum kit. And we had to tame it a little bit. We put that's just a T-shirt draped over the front head to keep it from resonating so much. All right, pretty cool. And all on rugs. All right. Pretty cool. There were so many microphones, so many things to mic that we didn't have enough mic amplifiers. And so over here, originally my intent was to put a microphone on each drum. There's 2 congas, 2 bongos, there's a timbale, There's some wood blocks over there on the far left. The red and blue things, cymbals and stuff. So I was going to originally have a couple of overheads and then close mics on everything, but there just wasn't. They didn't have enough mic amplifiers, and so what I did was I had a couple of overhead mics. You can kind of see them up here. Oops. Oop. There they are, like right there. There's one right there, and there's another one kind of. Oh, there's the other one right there. These two guys here, and they're over the congas and bongos, kind of overhead those. And the reason I did that is because when they were playing them, they were playing with their hands rather than with sticks, and so they didn't make that much noise. Now, the timbales and the cymbals and the wood blocks and stuff, they're using sticks, and so that was way louder. And so the overheads, I focused them on the hand drums, and the other stuff got picked up by the overheads just fine. It was perfectly fine. All right. Those black tubes are like these really cool sounding bells. Really awesome sounding. That's the percussion station, and there was a gobo in between. Right. It's not a B3. I think it's a C3. This is actually Ian McLagan's rig. Ian McLagan he was the keyboardist for the Rod Stewart and Faces, if you guys know who they are. This is from the 70s. But he also played keyboards for the Rolling Stones. Supposedly, there was some of Keith Richards', well, I won't say. Here we go. This is a Leslie. So the organ actually connects to the Leslie. This thing here is actually the speaker for the organ. Now, this wasn't when they first made the organ. It wasn't intended to be this way. But the speakers in the organ, they're not all that good. These speakers are super awesome. You can't really tell it, but there's a rotating speaker on the top, and then there's a rotating speaker down on the bottom. And these microphones here, these 257s, are picking up the rotating speaker as it spins. It's pretty cool. And then there's another mic down below. This is the upright bass station. There's this upright bass. I was using two microphones on it. One over his shoulder and another one facing the bass, right? So this microphone that you see, the one in the picture there, would be facing kind of like at the bridge of the bass. Pretty cool. So this is a really nice studio. Very nice. Wood floors. A good sound. A lot of isolation, which is important. Here's the control room. That guy that's sitting there is John Cates. He actually works for ACC. He was actually doing a bunch of video stuff for the band. He was recording the band. But there it is. That's the control room. That's an API 1608 and a bunch of outboard gear, a bunch of speakers. We'll get a tour. There it is. That's the 1608. It's not a huge console. It's 16 channels. So 16 mic amplifiers. There's a bunch of outboard mic amplifiers, which will come into the picture here in a second. Yep, pretty nice. Here's a bunch of outboard. There's a 500 series rack. I think I talked about those during class quite a while back, but get used to seeing these. It's really important. You can have the highest quality, whether it's Neve or API or anything that you want. Everybody's making modules for these API what they call lunch boxes, or 500 series lunch boxes, and it's a way of getting super high quality stuff for not that much money. Right? So this is Dynamite. These are two compressors. They're called Dynamites. They're from the 70s. These are Neve, two Neve compressors. Those sound unbelievable. This is an inwards connections compressor called the Brute, and these are Neve EQs. Down here below, these are de-essers. It takes away the sounds and vocals. This is a Burkasti reverb unit we weren't using. This thing down here is a two-track recorder. Here's another mic preamp that we were using for the bass. Here's a little mini patch bay that wasn't being used for anything. And this thing down here, all the way down here, it's called a hearback. And this is I should have taken a picture of the hearback unit, but it's a way of doing headphone mixes for the musicians where they don't have to, they don't rely on you. They make their own headphone mix. You send them all the important stuff that they need to hear, and they decide how loud all that stuff is. Right? Pretty good. And at the very bottom, there's a time code unit for doing movies, for doing videos, for Pro Tools, and then a electricity conditioner, a power conditioner. Pretty slick. That's one rack. I'm looking at another video monitor. Sorry. There it is. There's the patch bay. All right. Still not full of stuff. That pink thing is or a purple audio MC76. It's a copy of an 1176 compressor. Sounds really good. We had it on the bass. That red thing with the 8 big knobs on it, that's a mic preamp. That's a mic amplifier unit, and there's 8 microphone amplifiers in there. The thing at the very top, we had percussion, we had organ, we had the horns were all in this red unit. The thing at the very top, the Vintech audio, those are copies of Neve mic amplifiers and EQs, and we had both guitars in there. This is the thing at the top, the blue thing is a DBX compressor, 160S. You don't see a whole lot of those. I'm not sure why. They're actually really good. The 2 distressors, the black units below them, every studio's got those. Those are everywhere, and because they sound great and they're fantastic. The Soundtech EQ. This is the thing below the distressors. That Soundtech EQ is it's really a mastering EQ, and it was designed by George Massenburg. The 17-year-old whiz kid back in the day. The thing below there, that's a Manley variable mu compressor. That's Ivana Manley's, that's her, really, it's her, probably her best piece of gear, I would say. There you go. And then the SSL compressor at the very bottom there. Oh, and so then that thing in the very back, there's a diffuser, right? Typically, the diffuser's in the back. So there's a diffuser in the back, a couch, of course. You got a studio dog there. That's Osa, the studio dog. Ferocious beast. So that is what you're seeing on that computer. That's a laptop. That's John's laptop, and he's running OBS. It's the same software that I'm using to make this video. And it was being webcast actually, and so he was running a webcast. More gear. Patch bay. So there's a TV monitor up there, and that's actually showing what's going out to webcast, and John's switching between cameras and stuff. Oh, and that's John's camera. John is a genius. No joke. He actually, this thing is, it's a pocket cinema camera from Blackmagic Design, and he rigged up this remote control thing. He programmed it all. He rigged it up. He did the whole thing. This is all his thing. The cage, the whole thing. It's all his. Check it out. He designed that app too. Everybody had to wear masks. Two things I want you to notice. The first thing is that it's a Mac. The next thing I want you to notice is that we're using Pro Tools. If you work in a professional studio, you're going to see a whole lot of that. Yummy gear. And there you go. So, have a good rest of the summer. See you guys soon. Bye bye.